importance of preparing a sorted and well-maintained one. So first of all, I'll be starting with what to be included in a resume, followed by Nandana, who will be telling to you in detail about what should not be included in a resume. So basically, we will be telling to you about the do's and don'ts that you should consider while preparing a resume, and any further doubts and queries will be cleared by Murigi sir. So we'll be presenting you the slides. Nandana, can you please share the slides?
Is the slides visible?
Yeah, okay, perfect. Okay, so Nandana, let's go to the introduction. Okay, so coming to the introduction, I have mentioned briefly about what a resume is and what is the importance of it. So our first point is it is a formal document that provides an overview of your professional qualifications, including your relevant work experience, skills, education, and notable accomplishments. So as mentioned, it is a formal document, and from what I have read, you might have figured out that it demonstrates your skills and abilities, and through which you should be able to convince the employers that whether you are qualified and hireable. And secondly, it's an essential part of the hiring process and is a basic requirement considered for a position. So as far as our career is considered, a resume is a very valuable tool, and it is a basic requirement through which we should maintain a proper good impression. And lastly, the goal of your resume is to convince your employers you're worth interviewing. So this is a point I have mentioned before. So basically, a resume speaks a lot about a person. It in some way reflects ourselves. So the way you prepare a resume, its outlook, its content, everything is very necessary to make your employers understand that you're worth it. Okay, Nandana, let's move to the next slide. So coming to my topic, what should be included in a resume? What should be there in a resume? First one, it is written, it depends on the job you are applying for and your educational background. So as the first point states, it basically depends on the job you are applying for. There will be a particular job to which you are preparing a resume, and the points should be stressed will be any educational accomplishments or any past work experience which is relevant as far as the job is considered. And secondly, we have to choose a proper format and layout. So when we come to the preparation of resume, there are several formats like the chronological resume, the functional resume, etc. So this is a very basic step. We should be able to choose a format in such a way that most of the space in the resume should be used up to discuss about our past work experience, educational qualifications, our graduation details, etc. And next comes the personal, and also not to forget a proper format and layout is very important. It is the first and basic step. Next, we have the personal information and contact details. So as the name says, under personal information, we can involve first name and last name, our residential address. Okay, that's it. Personal, okay, residential address, etc. And the contact details, we can add our phone number, and also you can add your date of birth in personal information. In contact details comes phone number, email address, etc. Also, you can add your LinkedIn profile ID if your profile is up to date. And one thing to be mentioned under this title is that while you are giving your email ID, it should be seeming professional. Means what I mean by that is it should not be considering of any too much of numbers, any unofficial pet names, nicknames, or etc. It should be official. It should be stated official. Now we have the resume objective. So one of the most important point I mentioned was to choose a proper format and layout. Now we have the resume objective. Coming to resume objective, it is also one of the most important things to be mentioned in a resume. It basically states why you are interested in that particular job you are applying for. And doesn't mean you have to mention it really in detail. It should be kept short and simple and to the point. Now we have the academic qualifications where you can mention your school names, the university under which you have graduated, and any other relevant academic qualifications in accordance with the job you are applying for. And now we have experience. In experience, you can add, if you have worked before, you can add the company to which you were working for, how many years you have worked, the success you have accomplished over there, and also your key responsibilities. What were your key responsibilities back in that job, etc. And also, not to forget, you have to add as many accomplishments as possible. Whether it is, if it's related to the job, then it should be mentioned for sure. And under skills, we have our extracurricular activities, which we carried along in our school life or college life, etc. And you should be able to mix your hard skills and soft skills together to give a best impression. So this is all about what should be there in a resume, what to be included in a resume. So I hope all of you have I hope all of you understand. So basically, the point to be kept in mind is that you should be able to emphasize your strengths, stress towards your plus points in the resume, and to the point that also I have to mention, you should be able to speak a lot in few words. That's it. And also try to give an impression, not that impression that you have to make, you have to convey to them that you are a well-rounded candidate. Okay, so I hope you have understood. So next I'll be handing over to Nandana and she will be telling you in detail about what not to be included in a resume. Nandana, please.
Okay, hi everyone. I'm Nandana, S1 student. So my topic is what should not be there in a resume. As Jinsa said, there are certain things we have to include in a resume that should be taken care of most probably, like most priority. This is also another field which we have to think about when writing a resume. First point is unnecessary personal information. So personal information is required, but some other fields like relationship status, parents' name, parents' occupation, which are irrelevant for the job are not required. It is not required to be included in a resume. Similarly, another thing is lengthy sentences. An interviewer has to review hundreds of resumes in a day. So it's better to keep it brief so that important information is not does not become less visible. So maximum 1 to 2 pages is enough for a better output. And next is details about hobbies and interests. Hobbies and interests are required, but writing too much about it is not very meaningful. Better to avoid writing too much about anything. Next is expectations. It is always better to state what we can contribute to the job rather than telling our expectations from the job. So that can create a better impression to the interviewer. Similarly, inaccuracies in content. We can write everything in a resume truthfully rather than giving half truths, inaccuracies, etc. Then is negative comments. If you're employed, you can avoid why you are dissatisfied with the present job, or if you're not employed, or if you're already employed and left the job, it is better to avoid stating or mentioning about why you left the previous jobs. And also avoid talking negatively or writing something negative about other organizations or other employers, etc. And the last one is miscellaneous extra content. Miscellaneous extra content may include writing more than one contact number, giving details about social media websites, etc. So as conclusion, I would like to say that resume is used by companies to shortlist candidates. It is basically to get an overall idea about a person. So why a person have to meet you or why a person should talk to you, it's stated by your resume. While writing a resume, it's always advised to write only about what is required, briefly and with accuracy, rather than speaking something else and giving too much about it. So I hope you all liked our presentation and learned something new. Thank you. Wishing you all the best.
Thank you, Nandana, for your illuminating words. I'm sure you all have many follow-up questions, and feel free to ask them by unmuting your mic or putting it in the chat box, because we have just the right person to answer them all for you. Our very own Murugesh Ramaiah sir. I know you all are familiar with him, but as the MC, it is my duty to introduce him. He is a 1985 CET pass out and is also an MBA graduate and a lawyer, a human rights lawyer and a motivation speaker. He has over 30 years of experience in executive training, recruiting, and staffing. He is the founder and CEO of CG Institute of Hardware Training. And I invite him to help you with all your doubts and queries. Murugesh Ramaiah sir, the stage is all yours.
Okay, mic test. Am I audible?
Yeah, sure. Yes, sir.
Okay. Pretty interesting and well done presentation by Nandana and Jinsa. Appreciate the work you have put in bringing this forward. This was one of the objectives of the BBC Club, wherein we work with people to get people to come forward and do presentations. And rather than me making a few statements and doing a few slides, we thought that we would use this approach. Well done. I'm quite impressed with the work done. We can make changes, but good job. Having said that, let me set the format which I'm going to use rest of my 30 to 45 minutes which I have for this resume making session. I will also try to initially answer some questions, if any. And I would tell you from my perspective and from my couple of years of working, not couple of years, and so what I have learned to do and not do. So what I would request everybody is that to be very honest, blunt, and unmute and ask questions rather than putting it in the chat box. This is required primarily because this is also an experience in us talking in front of many students. Tomorrow, when you're going to a GD, when you're going to face an interviewer, it is also an experience talking to different people. This is a same group of us. All of us are CETians. Couple of us have lost hair and become old, but we are truly CETians at heart. And nobody is going to put any value judgment on you on what kind of questions you ask. You can ask whatever the questions you want to ask. It can be as mundane as like somebody yesterday asked a nice question. What if my name is very difficult to pronounce? Should I put a short name? It's an interesting question. But the point I'm trying to say is that I will try, let us make it as interactive as possible. And I will also try sharing some of the slides which I have made for last year. Although I would have edited it or some things might be relevant, something might be relevant. I will share it towards the middle of it, wherein we will run through, from my perspective, what should be there in the resume. The presenters before me have covered it all briefly and succinctly, and they were very much to the point. Let me do what I am good at, going round and round and making it elaborate. So the point is, I will do that as a part of my slides. So how do we start? Can somebody start asking questions, or should I go through what should be there in a resume from my perspective, and then you guys, what should not? I'll start with what should not be there. How do you want me to do it? Somebody has to say, I want to make this interactive.
So may I ask one question?
Go ahead, kill. Name, please. Name yourself.
So my name is Abhishek, sir. I'm from mechanical engineering.
Which semester, Abhishek?
It's sixth semester.
Good. I was also a mechanical engineering student.
One of the questions that we get in an interview is, where do you see yourself in 5 years? How are we supposed to answer the question?
Okay. Very interesting. Brilliant start. This is a question which we will answer it in the last session, but now that you have started it, let me give you an answer, a detailed answer. Number one, before you go for an interview, one of the most important things you will have to do is that read about the organization, go to Glassdoor, go to some of the sites wherein people have written about the company. What is the job? What is the career prospects? Once you understood a company, ആരെങ്കിലും നമ്മുടെ അടുത്ത് ഒരു ചോദ്യം ചോദിക്കുകയാണെങ്കിൽ നമുക്ക് ഇതുപോലെ പണി തരാനായിട്ടായിരിക്കും അവർ ചോദിക്കുന്നത്. So you will also have to be prepared when you are answering the question. If the people have written in the company saying that this company is slow on promotion, work content is good, but so we will have to ensure that what is it that you want to do. Don't go and ask, tell an interviewer no company. One of the things you should not say is that I will work here for 3 years and then do my MBA. Appan jolly poyinu kutiyadu. Appa ende thirichu choikkum, sir, motivation nammal kallam parayano, korchu kallam parani tettilla. Obviously, when you ask a question, what are you here for? Let's assume I'm joining. Let's take 2 examples. I'll explain using 2 examples. One, it's one in Infosys. Let's assume Infosys is coming here and handling. Second is, let us assume SR or any one of those SR or any one of those engineering companies are coming, and you are a mechanical engineering student. Question is, where do you see yourself 5 years from now? He said, I see myself I look forward to be trained properly. I hope to gather the skills which will help me get into a team lead or a project manager level, not in the regular place, in an accelerated pace. What it conveys to the interviewer is that you are interested in a career with them. Number one, you are interested in training with them. You are interested in leading a team. If suppose SR or let's assume Maruti is coming for campus placements and asking well, said, look here, I want to be in, I mean, you might be in the production floor initially, then you go into design. So I am looking at I'm looking at a career which will be mutually enriching and wherein I can gain skills so that I can go to the next level as per the people like team players. Be a good team player and be part of the team and contribute to the team and hopefully lead a team in the next 5 years. Do not ever go and tell my career objective is to go to America and to do my masters. Then another way to handle that question is, if for example, it's an extremely fast growing startup. It's a fast growing startup. You need to say, one, don't make it appear like you're praising the CEO too much. You say, read about the CEO and say, I've read about while you say, I look forward to career of the regular stuff, but you say, I've read about the career, what he's done. If suppose the company is founded by a 30-year-old, he's asking, where do you see yourselves 5 years from now? There you can say, sir, I look forward to gain skills to see that how I can be part of the, get into a leadership position, or I can lead a team, kind of a thing. It is no harm in aspiring for that. Another question, the interviewer, why don't you start an organization? So at this point in time, I'm a fresher. I'm a student stepping into the big bad world or big bad corporate world. I would like to gain skills and then decide what I need to do as I go. But at this point in time, I do not have any entrepreneurial dreams at this stage. Maybe I would go to if I get an idea, I would go to my manager, talk to him, see if this can be an idea which I can work with the company and take this thing forward. So what it conveys to the startup is also is that so the point is, because everybody who's interviewing you they do not want competition. I'll be very honest. They hate competition. They want somebody who will work for them. So give them the answer which you will be able to convince them to take it to the next level. Number one. And the second most important thing is practice. Write down saying that what is it that you want to do. Keep it brief. The best of the answers, the best of the jokes, the best of the famous lines which we quote about people are lines which people have prepared many times. There's nothing which just comes like this. The quotable quotes are like, people are prepared and then they have written. All these people are authors. So similarly, there is no harm in you as a person saying that this is what I want to do. And it should reflect what you have said in your objective. Objective, where do you want yourselves to be in 5 years? Because there are people who have answered me. They have written something in objective because they had cut and pasted the objective from somewhere in the resume. Number one, don't do that. I'll come to that. I'll use this question to answer that question. So ensure that what you say for the next 5 years reflects what you want to be and what the company wants to be. What the company looks for. How do you fit yourselves in the 5 years? Interview, be very honest, frank, upfront, all the thing that HR, but don't take it at any value. Ensure that you say what they want to hear, but don't make it appear as a praise. I hope I've answered the question. If I have a follow-up, I'm okay to take the follow-up. Before I use your question to answer what your resume objective should be.
Yes, sir. That's enough.
Good.
Understood.
Thank you so much.
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay. Okay, let me answer the question about what should be there in your resume objective, because your resume objective should should not be that I am looking at a long, meaningful career and I will contribute so much to the company's growth, prosperity. Don't even try doing any one of those things. Ensure the career objective, if you are putting it in, put it brief, succinct, and what you want to do. And then you might say you want to be an IAS officer. That's okay. And it should reflect saying that it should be simple. It can be saying that I'm looking for for example, if a civil engineer should say I'm looking for a career and to building a career in the infrastructure area. Infrastructure covers everything. It covers sports, it covers buildings, it covers roads, it covers almost everything. So your career statement of objective should be simple, which should reflect what you want to be and which will fit into the job you are going and what you should be doing. Next question, what you will ask me, unmute sir, interview resume. No, you can have a generic resume, but if it is a dream company, if it is your dream company, tailoring it for that particular dream company is not harmful. I do not know how CGPU in number college, how does a placement work? You print, you Xerox, bulkly you give certain resumes and then give it to them. But if you're allowed to submit a resume or log in and submit it, do it with care. Don't cut and paste it. Certain companies say you log in into our website and then log in into our website and then type it. Well, they'll ask a lot of HR kind of questions. Ensure that you read about it, understand from it, and then you fill that in. And if you are giving a resume, and a Xerox the resume. I've seen a lot of resumes coming. People have Xerox the signature. Do not do that. Ensure that you sign in a different blue ink. In a blue ink. Because color Xerox, so it will reflect something. Don't do it in a black. Ideally, do it in a blue ink so that the person. And do not write at the end of the Xerox all statements is true to the best of my knowledge, unless it is otherwise for a public sector position. There are other things which are there, which comes up is that should I paste the resume or not? I would, should I paste my photograph in the resume? Depends. If the company wants it, give it. But for a software engineer or for a mechanical engineer or an electrical engineer, you might not. Some companies insist on it for MBA in customer facing roles. But these days, customer face so it is going to be Zoom. So ideally, you have to, I mean, I wouldn't recommend it, but do not paste your photo, take a Xerox and give the resume. Do not ever do that mistake, and do not ever take a sign and then take a Xerox and give it. And don't write this funny statement. All I have said here is true to the best of my knowledge. Don't, like my presenters before me told, don't write about your sex, your religion. There are people who have written caste. Give me a break. That was from an MBA school. Not in Kerala though, in another state. I won't name the state. So do not write those kind of irrelevant stuff in your, do not put those kind of irrelevant things in your resume. I will cover the points whichever are presented by my earlier presenters and my team again. But now let the questions come. ഞാൻ തനിയെ ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ ചോദിച്ച് ആൻസർ ചെയ്യിക്കുന്ന എനിക്ക് ബോറടിക്കും. എന്തെങ്കിലുമൊക്കെ ചോദിക്കുകയാണെങ്കിൽ കുറച്ച് ഇൻട്രസ്റ്റിംഗ് ആക്കാം.
ഹലോ സർ.
പേര് പറയൂ.
പേര് അർജുൻ ദാസ്.
അർജുൻ, ഏത് മെക്കാനിക്, ഏത് ബ്രാഞ്ചാണ്?
സർ ഐ ആം പ്രസന്റ്ലി ഡൂയിങ് എംടെക് സിഇടി.
സിഇടി. എഞ്ചിനീയറിംഗ് എവിടെയാണ് കഴിഞ്ഞത്?
എഞ്ചിനീയറിംഗ് ഗവൺമെന്റ് എഞ്ചിനീയറിംഗ് കോളേജ് വയനാട്.
വയനാട്. Okay, go ahead. Ask a question.
Mechanical engineer.
Good.
So my question is, if we have any gap in between this education, how we will convince the HR?
Okay, wonderful. Actually, I don't need to put my slides off. അതിലുണ്ടായിരുന്ന ഒരു പോയിന്റ് നിങ്ങൾ തന്നെ പറഞ്ഞു. Okay, educational gap എന്ന് പറയുകയാണെങ്കിൽ, I mean, you can be very upfront. What kind of gap? Is it because of a medical issue, or is it because of any other issue, or?
Sir, in my case, actually, it is for preparation for competitive exams.
Absolutely no problem. You can straight away say that I was preparing for it. Then I realized my calling was different. I tried, but I'm moving on. So what does it convey to them? Just be upfront about it. There's no reason. People might ask you a follow-up question. Why can't you prepare another 2 years and then try for the competitive exams? Sir, that is where you have to give a smart answer. Family responsibilities demanded that I go for a job. So what it conveys to them is you are a responsible family person. You will be a responsible team player. You will keep aside your interest. അപ്പോൾ അടുത്ത ചോദ്യം കൂടെ വരാം. പിന്നെ നിങ്ങൾ ട്രൈ ചെയ്യാറില്ലേ? No, I've given my best for it. I think I'm not going to go for it because I don't think at this stage I'm cut out for it. So don't hesitate. Be upfront, but practice the answer. എന്ത് ആൻസർ കൊടുക്കണം എന്നുള്ളത് നമ്മൾ പ്രാക്ടീസ് ചെയ്യണം. ഗ്യാപ്പ് ഉള്ളത്, it is not a mistake. Trying for something is not a mistake. That way there is a paradigm shift in the general in the HR community. If people take a gap, there's nothing anybody can do. My daughter has taken a 1-year gap year after a degree. I mean, I can't imagine me doing it. So I asked her, what are you going to tell in the interview? Her answer was, I've taken a gap year. I want to decide what the hell I want to do with my life. I mean, what the hell എന്നൊന്നും പറയരുത് ഇന്റർവ്യൂവിൽ, but what I'm saying is close to that. You should say, I joined engineering for whatever reason it is that I wanted to generally take. There are people who have take 1 year off to travel across the world, or 1 year to trek, or do whatever it is. These days, nobody minds people taking time off. Today, you have the luxury to do that. So, answer your question. If somebody asked you why didn't you do it? I was preparing for a competitive exam, but I did not make it. And I decided that it is not worth my responsibilities demanded that I move into a job. Nobody is going to ask us, even if there is family pressure, my family responsibilities insisted that I get a job and then move on. Your interest, are you willing to give up for the family? Obviously, yes. Have I answered a question, or do I have a follow-up question?
Sir, one more question.
Go ahead.
Sir, while making our resume, should we depend upon any app, or how will to make
good.
it perfect?
നിങ്ങൾ ആള് കൊള്ളാം കേട്ടോ. ഞാൻ ഇനിയൊരു ചോദ്യം വച്ചിരുന്നതാണ് അതിൽ. In my presentation, don't use any app. Okay, good. I didn't get your name. Name again, please.
My name is Arjun Das.
Arjun, it's a very, very interesting question. What should a resume be? A resume is a reflection of your personality. It has to be written by you, not by 1 minute. It has to be written by you. It should reflect you. Do not use any app. Let me quickly run. Don't use any app. Number 1, write what do you think your resume should be. Number of photos. Number resume is a photograph of ourselves, our skills, our strengths, not your weaknesses. Either run a resume. If suppose you are writing a resume, I'll just quickly run through from my perspective what needs to be there in a resume. A resume should have a name, Ideally, it should have your statement of objective. It should, if you have any work experience, talk about the work experience. Then you go into your, don't write Department of Mechanical Engineering, College of Engineering, Trivandrum. You can straight away say that MTech, College of Engineering, Trivandrum. If your percentage is year 1985 or 87, sorry, year 2000, whatever, ഞാൻ എൻ്റെ കാര്യം പറയായിരുന്നു. Whatever, and the percentage. And if you have got a great GATE score, mention the GATE score. It should be not more than one line what you write about your academic qualifications. Then your BTech from wherever it is and finish with it. Then comes your projects, which if you have done a great project, your MTech project is great, talk about it. And when you write about the MTech project, be very clear. One line sentence. This is the title of the project done in VSSC Trivandrum. This is the key achievement of the project. And if you have done your BTech project is good, write about BTech projects. Then you write about your mini projects if you have done. Otherwise, if you have done any scientific publications, write talk about the scientific publications. And after that, you decide that you have done your extracurricular activities, which can be, it's another question. Let somebody ask, I'll wait for that. What should be there in it, or I'll cover it later. I mean, write things which you have done very well, and then you write about your hobbies, but be very sure. എന്നെപ്പോലെ ഒരാളുടെ ഹോബി എടുത്തപ്പോൾ എഴുതിയാണ് ചെസ്സാണ് ഞാൻ പഠിച്ചിട്ടുള്ളത്. ഞാൻ ചുമ്മെങ്കിലും ഗൂഗിൾ ഇങ്ങനെയല്ലേ ഇരിക്കുന്നത് ലാപ്ടോപ്പ്. ഇപ്പൊ ഇന്റർവ്യൂവിൽ ഇരിക്കുമ്പോൾ അതിൽ ഞാൻ അടിച്ചു നോക്കും വാട്ട് ഇസ് എ സിസീലിയൻ ഓപ്പണിംഗ് എന്ന് ചോദിക്കും. നിങ്ങളത് പറഞ്ഞില്ലെങ്കിൽ നിങ്ങൾ അപ്പം നിങ്ങളുടെ ജോലി പോയെന്ന് കൂട്ടിയാൽ മതി. സോ വാട്ട് എവർ യു റൈറ്റ് ഇൻ ഇറ്റ്, പ്ലീസ് ബി ഷുവർ അബൌട്ട് ഇറ്റ്. And if you have done something extraordinary well, there is no harm in talking. There is no harm in. There is absolutely no harm in talking more about it. And then yours, I mean, ideally, a lot of places you don't need a signature. If you put a signature, it's good. I mean, it should be crisp, concise, and remember in a resume, the first page, the first 5 lines or the first 8 lines, that is the real estate is more costly than real estate in Bombay or real estate in New York or whichever part of the world. That should make an impression out of it. That should make an impression out of it. And then please be very sure to proofread your resume many times. Many times. Resume is spelling mistake, please. I would have done the entire, I will mess up with that guy so badly. You'd be wondering what hit him. Because if some guy, and then don't write the resume submitted to. Resume matram kodutha. You don't need to. Then the question will come, do I have to have a cover letter? If you can put things other than what you've done in the resume, write a cover letter. Otherwise, ideally not required. And don't write in the cover letter, I am here with enclosing my resume for your perusal. Resume so you don't need to do that, do repetitive things. Let's save the planet. Don't waste too much paper. But keep it simple. Do not use fancy fonts. Times, so New Garamond, use here. Do not ever use fancy fonts. But a decorative old bookman, an old bookman said, why can I put resume? So ensure that this is what a resume should be. And do not use
sorry, sir.
Go ahead.
Sir, Word resume type.
Word type it, you can convert it into PDF. Ideally, do it in PDF, but Word will change. Word or
font
PDF.
size.
Good question. Very nice question. Font size, make it readable to. In mechanical engineering, MMSc in metals and metallurgical science in the Koodal page area mark to run is font valida case. A paper supply. The point is font size, make it small and neat. It should be professional looking. I mean, any font size ideally wouldn't know, but make it readable. An average person with no eye disability should be able to read it properly. And it should be scannable, and you should have sufficient amount of keywords in it. When I mean keywords, I mean put the skills which is important. Resume next question. I will cover that later. But keep the font size readable, decent, and professional. And
I
one
would like
important,
to add one more question.
go ahead.
In academic details, should we add from our matriculation level or only degree?
End opinion degree ആണ്. Unless otherwise you have studied in a Doon school or in a grade school and you have got a state rank or a district rank, there is no need to write your 10th, 12th. I wouldn't be, or unless you have got a great rank in your this thing, I wouldn't. അതൊക്കെ unnecessary real estate waste ആണ്. Let the interviewer ask you a question. ഞാൻ definite ആയിട്ട് ചോദിക്കും ആ ചോദ്യം. An interviewer is not going to decide to hire you based on which where you have done your +2 or your 10th. Interviewer is going to look at where you are currently studying, what you have, and if you're a PG person, where has been your UG. Rest of it is interview questions or some of the questions which you can handle in the interview. Or unless otherwise you, I mean, the LR CGP and you can't even distinguish between a lot of things. So 10th and 12th, I wouldn't recommend it. It is a waste of real estate space, which you can use it. Interview എങ്ങനെയെങ്കിലും ഒരു ചോദ്യം, tell me about yourself എന്നൊരു ചോദ്യം വരും. അതിന് എന്തെങ്കിലുമൊക്കെ വെക്കണ്ടേ? Have been educated in a government school or whatever it is, with this percentage. Sentence so you keep something also for the interview when you talk about yourself. I come from a middle class background, be educated in a government school if I were to say I studied in St. Joseph's High School in Trivandrum, finished SSLC and went out to do my +2 in arts college and then engineering. So a couple of questions you don't need to actually put it, is my opinion.
Sir, adding on to Arjun's question, so you said that you shouldn't, it's better not to use a fancy program to make your PowerPoint or resume. So my question is that preparing a good-looking resume with Word it takes really time. It takes a very, to make that our resume look exactly professional, it takes a very good time. So my question also, since most of the industry right now is centered around different types of tools, so my question is, why shouldn't I use it? Because it actually saves me time. And even if an interviewer asks me, you have used so and so program, so I can simply tell them, like, the industry is working on based on so and so programs, because this only proves that I am comfortable using different types of softwares and all.
Okay, number one, maybe I'm a wrong HR person to answer her question. If somebody puts an effort, there's a difference between an original and a copy and a reprint. A resume is like an artist doing a picture. It reflects the mind. It reflects the mindset. To me, it reflects the person. The person has taken care in doing it rather than use a shortcut. That's what I would think. Maybe there are other HR people who will think different. Number one. Number two, what I would always do is that I will look for somebody, a lot of my community will look for somebody who is not trying to be part of the crowd, who is willing to put in effort to writing a resume is a lifetime task, which you can't get a third party to do it. You can't get a third party to do it. You have to be original is what I would look for it. You can use that to save time, but what are we going to do with the rest of the time? This one question. Resume, why do we make a resume? We studied 4 years to reach wherever we have to reach, number one. Two, trust me, I'm not disputing the fact using that is easier. To make a resume, if I were to make a presentation, I would rather use my own way to present it. Although I might use a format, what is inside the matter will be mine. You might say, I'm using the app. Why should the app tell you what should be there, what should be there, what should be there? This is a question.
Sir, I'm not talking about the content. I understand I understand where you're going. So I'm talking about the content, sir. The content should be original and it should be from the person only. So I was talking about the format and layouts. The content should be original to the person. I do agree with you on that. I was talking about the format.
I would rather spend a little time, but if you have resume software which helps you say the following things, use it. But I wouldn't recommend it. But it depends. As long as the content is original, I suppose it holds good for it.
And one more question. So you said that it's it's already discussed how to handle with breaks in the career. So my question is, After BTech, I took a year to complete my degree. So how am I supposed to play that? So, can you give an idea to how to play that with an interview?
Okay. This is another question for the session എടുക്കണ പാവം അദ്ദേഹത്തിന് ഒരു പോയിന്റ് ഇവിടെ പോയി. One of the points which I would say is that I would invent an interesting reason as to why I took an extra year or extra year. Nobody is going to go and verify whether you had a health problem at that particular semester or whatever it is, wherein you couldn't complete it, or you had bad sessionals or whatever it is. So it is no harm in saying that, yes, I had a health issue at that time, which I could have managed, but I didn't manage my time properly. So I took some more time to finish it. And I have learned from my mistake that you need to plan more. I have to plan for exigencies and emergencies, not keep everything for the last minute. Make it appear that you have learned from that experience of having a supply or whatever it is, which took you an extra time. I shouldn't be saying it because I have been always improvement in supply in my time at CET. But there has to be a diplomatic answer to it, from which the interviewer knows that you have learned from that particular error or mistake, whatever happened at that particular stage.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions?
Sir, can you hear me, sir?
Loud and clear, my friend.
My name is Jason.
I didn't get you quietly.
Sir, my name is Jason.
Jason. Okay, go ahead.
From MBA first year.
Okay.
So I wanted to ask a question regarding the selection process that we would be facing during, like, when we are going for recruitment.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Hello?
Okay. Let me answer the question. Give me a minute to gather my thoughts.
Yeah. So my question is, sir, when the criteria comes of like selecting me as an employee, what would matter the most, like my aptitude test score or like my post graduation marks, semester marks, or what would matter the most?
Okay. In any campus job selection, from my little bit of experience in the last so many years, 50% of the marks will go, 50 to 60% of the criteria will be based on the face-to-face interview, and 40% will be for the other processes. When I say 40%, around 20% will go for an aptitude test. 20% will go for your aptitude test, and 20% will go for your GD, and the rest will be for the other stuff. The rest for the interview, 20, 20, and 40. I mean, assume 50% will be in the interview. An interview is primarily done to clearly find out what exactly you would be, you are looking at it.
So, sir, I came to hear that Tata comes for recruitment in CET form for MBA students too.
Okay.
So, like, would they be like only send students who have above 80% of marks?
Okay. Typically, Tata companies, that is a way in which they used to weed out reduce the number of interviews they use. That is at the first stage. After that would be the interview process. Just because you have crossed 80 doesn't guarantee you anything. A Tata, most of the, for example, I know about another 1-2 software companies who say that you cannot have any supply at all, which is very dangerous. But I mean, that is a way they use to reduce the number of candidates who come for the interviews. But primarily, what a company, most of the companies go for is that they look for, they look for your background, what you have, how you have performed in the test, how you have performed in the GD. Ultimately, the final decision would be based primarily on how you perform in those 30 minutes, the most important 30 minutes of your life.
Yes, sir. Understood, sir. Thank you.
Just a minute. Let me drink some water, please. Yeah, go on. Can I have the next question, sir, please?
Sir, one more question.
Go
Sir,
ahead.
can you repeat that correct format of resume in order? That is, whether we should add our work experience ahead of academic details, or
Okay,
should it follow?
yeah, I will quickly run through that again, if it is not boring for anybody, because number one, name. Second, keep in mind name, objective, the name, objective. If you have any work experience, talk about it. Academics, you can interchange it also. Your academics, that is your name, objective. After that, your if you have done full-time work after your graduation, or you write your academics. Don't write on top college, university, percentage. Nothing of that sort. Nothing of that sort you write. Nothing of that sort you write. Primarily, you write about your MTech, your BTech. Then you come into your projects, main projects, main project one, main project two. After that, if you've done any mini project, after that, if you have done any scientific paper and you have published it in reasonably great displays, talk about your, what do I say? Talk about your hobbies, or talk about your co-curricular activities, not extracurricular, right? Co-curricular activities. If you have held any position or something which is reasonable in your college and in your degree, or if you've done something extraordinarily great in your.
Because we are doing any online certification course. Can we add that?
No, yeah, can I complete it? Can I complete it?
Yes.
And then we'll
Okay. Yes.
We talk about your what do you say, your co-curricular activities, and then you finish it. Ideally, if you have done any good online, reasonably good online courses, or courses conducted by Harvard, Stanford, or any one of those great brand names, you put that. Don't say I've done a certificate course in CorelDRAW and in ACAD. That nobody is going to. If you've done something extremely good, then you talk about it. Otherwise, don't talk about it. So have I answered your question regarding the format? Hello?
Yes,
Hello?
sir. Sir,
Yeah.
in the case of achievements, can I put a qualified gate and all?
You know, not qualified gate is, that's why you got an MTech. Everybody knows about it. That when you write your, if your grade score is that great, and got 99 percentile, put that. But if you have got around 80 or 85, or you're just part of the crowd, there's no point in wasting real estate there. So we know that you have got a gate. That could be another interview question for you. Does it answer your question?
Okay, sir.
Okay. Any nobody else has got questions?
So I have one more question, sir.
Go ahead.
Sir, is it necessary that we should include our strengths and weaknesses in the resume?
No. Those are interview questions. Interviewer ne korchu jolly edukappa.
Okay, sir.
Because that is one interview question which anybody and everybody has. What are your strengths and weaknesses? And be sure, I'm not taking away the subject topic matter of the next few sessions. Ensure that you prepare your strengths, 1, 2, 3. And when you talk about your weakness, you don't say too many weaknesses. Say 1, 2 weaknesses, and you also should say we are working on it to correct it. Don't say I'm emotional or I get angry when I read certain news. Nothing controversial. You have to be extremely politically correct when you say about your strengths, weaknesses, and.
Should we be honest about our weaknesses, or?
You can be to a certain extent, but don't be too honest.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Politically correct. That's a right word. Politically correct. നമ്മൾ സത്യം പറയണമെന്ന് തോന്നണം, പക്ഷേ സത്യം ഫുള്ളായിട്ട് പറയുകയും ചെയ്യരുത്. എങ്ങും തൊടാതിരിക്കണം ആ വീക്ക്നെസ് എന്ന് പറയുമ്പോൾ. Because if you say that I'm very emotional, number one, if the job, if for a HR, you are applying, you are an MBA student, you are applying for a HR job, and you say very emotional. Believe me, you are out of the job. You will not get the job. Because HR requires you to be a lot of times really unemotional to sack people or take strong action against people. Great. There are a couple of people who have asked me very interesting questions. There are a lot of people who are there and not asking me questions either. Please
Sir,
go ahead.
yeah, hello, sir. This is Revati Chandran. I'm doing my MBA. So my question, I have
Which
two
year?
questions actually.
Which year?
First year,
What is your graduation? You did your engineering?
did
and
my
then
BTech
BTech. Okay.
in computer science.
Wow. Good.
Yeah, so I have work experience. So my
How many
one of
years?
the questions is that 2+ years.
Good.
Okay, so my question is that people who have work experience, I have both full-time and part-time work experience. So how relevant is the session called references? Like like you said, then it is foolish to write that whatever I have said
I
here
won't say
is
foolish. That's a strong word.
okay. Okay.
Uh,
Sorry to use that word.
No.
I
That's a
just
strong
meant,
word. It's not a strong word by me, but a strong word to a lot of people. But what I'm saying is, yeah,
yeah.
and to answer your question regarding should I put references? No, ideally you shouldn't put references there. That
Okay.
is for the after you get the job, people will ask you for references. Then you put references.
Great.
Because a lot
Okay.
of what happens, Revati, is that when a lot of people put references and they put big names and their mobile numbers and their email IDs. No, doesn't make any sense. Why should you advertise somebody else? References when people will ask you when you have to ask.
Yeah.
And if you had a couple of years of software experience, full-time job experience, and you are applying for example, you've done your 2 years. Let's assume you worked in a software company doing a work in an area, and you're applying for a sales job or you're applying for a HR job. Do you tweak the work experience you have to ensure that it fits into the kind of job you're applying? Suppose you're applying for a HR job or whatever it is, and you have done 2 years of software experience. So you say, I mean, you should bring it out in such a way that the company is having a HR person who actually knows software, doesn't need to use Google to ask questions in the interview. So you should bring that up. Or if you're applying for a team players job, you have worked in teams, or what you have gained in the work experience. And in a work experience, you're putting it in rewards and achievements. I will cover that in my slides, which I will use to close this session. And if you've got any awards as a best employee, put that. Best employee, not for, don't say I got 500 rupees cash award in jumping sack in games. No, don't put that. I mean, I've seen that. I mean, no harm in saying that, but I've seen people putting that in, which doesn't feel reflected to be good.
Okay. Just to make it clear, I didn't work in the IT sector anyways. Coming to the second question, regarding what you said about the academic section, if you have held any positions in your college, you can mention it, right? So the question is like, can we go into details, like what kind of work did we do in that role? Is it okay to do it, or should we just leave it like, okay, I was so and so in my college?
No. For example, I'll tell you from during my MBA, we ran this All India Fest or whatever it is, wherein we collected in those days, I'm talking about 87, something around 30 odd lakhs. That is a substantial sum of money. That I would mention it.
Hey, Murugesh, can I add a question there? You are the chairman of the college union. Have you ever used that?
I use that everywhere. I use that everywhere, and I set myself up for a lot of questions. So because the first question they ask us is, have you conducted strikes? I say, I mean, India got its freedom through freedom struggle, sir. So that is the first strike in the country. So it's not that I've not answered the question. The point I'm trying to say is that you give a diplomatic answer and you say that maybe I would have regretted some of my decisions. That is, all of us are young kind of a thing. We do a lot of things when we are, I mean, I still use it. I mean, I'm telling you, that is something, it's been an honor, privilege to have got that position, which I think is possibly the biggest honor in my life, or the privilege, which I still use it. It's not that I don't use it. I use it shamelessly even now.
Great. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Murugesh sir, I have a question for you.
Yes. I would prefer Murugesh. Oh, Raju.
Murugesh sir, what I have heard and what I have seen recently is that people who are very much active in social media, okay, and when they put across their resume for any interview, it has been understood that the company will do a background check based on Facebook, Insta, or whatever is available social platform. So, what is your take on that? And how far, let's say, in a political scenario, as of now, we are all undergoing a political scenario. So, what do you think? We should be actively involved in social media, or you should reserve your comments within yourself or within close groups where public is not seen on that.
Okay, let me give you again a politically correct answer for it. Good, I would have preferred the question to come from
me too.
Yeah, preferred, but let me tell you, it's a very, very relevant question. Number one, placement Samayathinu Mumbu. Try to be absent from social media. Facebook gives you a lot of opportunities. ഒരു 6 മാസം നമ്മൾ ഒരു 3-4 മാസം സോഷ്യൽ മീഡിയയിൽ നമ്മൾ കമന്റ് ചെയ്തില്ലെങ്കിലും നാടൊന്നും തലവത്തിനൊന്നും പോകാൻ പോകുന്നില്ല. കമന്റ് ചെയ്താലൊന്നും ആവൂല, കമന്റ് ചെയ്യാതിരിക്കുന്നതാണ് നല്ലത്. നമ്പർ വൺ, ബിക്കോസ് യു ഡു നോട്ട് നോ ഹൂ സിറ്റിംഗ് ഓൺ ദി അതർ സൈഡ്. And in a very polarized world where people are saying this or that, and when decency is non-existent in ideologies, it is very good, it is sensible to not stay away. For example, Facebook, you say, either you close the comments or you get out of Facebook. There's nothing which will go to, you can come back to that after you join the job, or after you get the job, or after your reference check is done, or after. Ideally, stay away from making extremely provocative comments, because you do not know who the other person is. So I'm talking about Facebook, I'm talking about Twitter, I'm talking about Instagram. These three people have lost jobs in premier institutions because of the postings which they have done. It shows the stupid mentality of the hiring company, but sadly, a lot of these companies use this to mess with people's lives and careers. So to avoid that, I would very strongly recommend, you are in S6, your placement season is starting. Quietly tone down, or quietly say, restrict who can see your comments, who cannot see your comments, or whatever it is. But ensure that you have your presence in LinkedIn, you do your activity, you become a member of various groups in LinkedIn. You are, when I'm saying LinkedIn, possibly you can become a member in 50 groups of your subject of your choice. Being there, understanding the technology, liking the articles. You let LinkedIn talk about you rather than what we post in social media. For example, if I were to post in social media, I'm 100% sure that a lot of places I wouldn't get jobs. But today, luckily, I'm not looking for a job. I'm in one foot in the grave. But to the new generation here coming, don't say things like, if I lose a job because of my post, so be it. Don't. There is no harm in being politically correct. You might say, കുനിഞ്ഞു പോകണമെന്നാണ് പറയുന്നത്. ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞു കുനിഞ്ഞു പോകണമെന്ന് പറയുന്നില്ല, സ്വല്പം അഡ്ജസ്റ്റ് ചെയ്തുകൊണ്ട് പോകുന്നത് ഇറ്റ്സ് ഗുഡ്, ബിക്കോസ് യു ഹവ് സ്റ്റഡീഡ് 4 years and you are looking for jobs in an economy which is extremely challenging. We are in the second wave. God only knows we are going to have a third wave or a fourth wave. God only knows that. But the point I'm trying to say is that be politically correct. At least don't tone down your comments during the placement season. At least just stay away from it, or ensure, restrict the people who can see it. There will be nobody will ask you, are you in? Yeah, go there. People have asked people, why are my comments not visible? So that's my personal space, sir. It's meant only for friends and family. Why you don't have an opinion about things? Yes, I have opinion, but social media, you can say the wrong things about social media is an echo chamber. You post things and your friends will like it. You are not going to change opinions based on social media. So what I'm trying to say is that be politically correct. Do not put your Facebook, Instagram, I've seen in resumes account there. Do not do that. Be politically correct. Tone down your comments during the placement season, or keep your comments hidden or your content hidden, or only friends and family can view it. After the placement season, you can do what you have to do, because do not lose out on any opportunities in a super challenging environment. Background check I mean, it's not that it is cash, it could be cash somewhere, but nobody does that much. But ideally, people definitely do that. Have I answered my question, Raju, or any of our
No, it's perfect. And I would also suggest something else. If those people who are really active in the social media, especially Facebook, they can lock their profile for a particular period of time, and I suggest that will help them out, or they can clear their history or something, so that
then we can get in there. Nobody is going to stop us. But what I'm trying to say is that we live in an environment which is very polarized. Sadly, people bring in their personal preferences, political preferences in hiring, which is wrong.
Yep.
I mean, there have been questions. I mean, somebody might ask you a loaded political question, answer it in a diplomatic way, and then move on. Any other questions?
So I have a question. This is Mahesh from third year electrical.
Yes, Mahesh.
So it's not about the resume, but it's about the face-to-face interview. And if I asked about the expected salary or the CTC, how should I respond?
Number one, your CTC is already fixed while going for campus. Ideally, you should say that if I were you, what I would say is that as a fresher, I'm looking at the work content. I know I am looking at salary also. I'm looking at the content of work. How can I gain more skills? And I'm sure your organization will have a fair policy for fair entry level salaries for people, and whatever I have to get, I would work hard and get whatever I have to get depending on my performance. Because, for example, most of the campus placement salaries are fixed, and if they still insist on asking for it, no, I don't think anybody is going to ask you moment you give them the answer. Generally, most of the campus placement salaries are fixed. So this is another question what people ask, to check out how much you have done research about the organization to do that. Have I answered the question or not?
The reason behind this question is last time I attended the same BBC's interview session. In the last time pre-placement, right? Then the interview board asked me the same question.
They will ask.
So I get stuck with that.
No, if I were you, what would I answer them is, look here, I mean, they will ask you a question, you would not have an opinion in what I said. No, it's not the question of my opinion. There is a fair entry level which is there for everybody. And if I perform that badly, and if the organization decides to start me higher, I wouldn't mind it.
Okay.
അതായത് നമ്മൾ തിരിച്ച് നമ്മൾ ചോദിക്കുന്നത് നമ്മൾ തിരിച്ച് കുറച്ച് you should use it to give, not give it back, but you'll have to be clear that, say, look here, you can't get an uncomfortable answer out of me. So these are things which definitely we will cover as a part of there is a session definitely on interview handling itself. I think it's scheduled for a couple of weeks from now, where whoever is going to handle a session would cover a lot of the standard interview questions. Tell me about yourself, then what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, I mean, where do you see yourself 5 years from now? Standard question on how to handle those questions will definitely be covered in depth and in detail.
Okay, sir, thank you.
Any other questions?
Hello, sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sir, I would like to add one more question.
Go ahead.
Sir, there are many apps related to job search. I don't know whether this is related to our topic, but
go ahead.
Okay, so there are many job searching apps that are coming. So many of them are actually giving fraud type, like they are asking money instead of, then they will provide interview like that. Many are saying like that. So which are the reliable apps that we can use for the better for getting job better?
Yeah, from my perspective, any job app, any job app. For example, across the world, this is one thing which happens. My experience, whether be it in India or the US, any app which asks for money, unless otherwise they are a specialized job site, do not pay money. Number one. Naukri definitely says that I will give you a premium position, pay me 1,000 rupees. Trust me, whether you put in Sada or in premium, it's the same effect as long as your name will definitely come up in the searches, number one. Number two, if you're looking at a fresher, if you're as a fresher, there freshers world is there, intern Shala is there, then you definitely, I mean, definitely you should put in Naukri, Shine, put in as many places as possible, but ensure that you write down somewhere where all you are posted. And if you are going to change the resume or reformat the resume, change in every place. So that is a reference check what people do. So generally, if somebody says, I will pay me 2,000 rupees, I'll get you an interview, you can be 100% sure, more than 100% sure, that is a fraud website. They'll say, I will guarantee you 3 interviews. If you all ready, interview. So,
okay, sir. Thank you.
Ideally, do not pay money. Number one. Number two, there are a lot of people who will come and tell you backdoor entry in the way. All are fraud, and you will definitely be thrown out in a couple of months. Definite another. There are, I mean, for example, recently the law firm is handling a case where a guy was swindled, 2 people were swindled 10 lakhs each, saying that they will get a job in the US and they will apply for a H1 visa. I mean, trust me, in Bangalore, recently we're working on it. The point is, it will appear real, but anybody asking money to get a job, backdoor entry, third-party entry, do not ever pay it. Then ideally, you should alert people saying that this particular site is asking for it. You complete my training, I will send you for interview. Trust me, there are a lot of institutes which keep doing that. I don't think you guys, CETians, need those kind of things to get a job, because on our own strength of being an 80-year-old engineering school, we have companies coming, and if we tune ourselves well, if we get ourselves trained well, we can get the jobs what we want at our terms. We don't need to do anything which is not legal. Have I answered the question fully?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, great. Any other questions? We are coming to the end of the session. So let me quickly share with you the screens of what we have done in the past. And Satish, should we go ahead and do that, or take a couple of more questions? Satish or the organizers, do I need to take a couple of more questions if there are any, or run through a quick overview of what has been covered till now and then finish with it?
If there are any questions to be asked, better.
I think the questions, they're over. That's it. I think.
Okay.
More questions will come up after the overview, I think. So.
Okay. Let me give me a minute. Let me open up the screen. Oh my, where is my, okay. Satish, will I be able to share the screen?
Ganga is the host. Ganga, I think you can, because you're already co-host.
Yes, sir, you can.
Okay. Let me run through your what has been covered in the past as a overview of what should not be there in a resume. We had covered what is unnecessary details. We have covered what should be your statement of objective or purpose. Please do not use, when I say point number 9, cliche or vague phrases, vague, I am extremely confident, I have great communication skills, I am hardworking, I don't want to know all those. Those things are all bad. Another thing you have to be very clear is that you cannot and cannot have poor grammar in your resumes. When I say irrelevant work experience, people have put in resumes. I have a member of some club which does something irrelevant. Ensure that whatever you have, work experience or achievements or anything, is related to getting a job, is related to your extracurricular activities or co-curricular activities, and in which you have held certain positions. Don't say there are people who have written, I have attended this fest, I've attended that seminar. No, do not ever, ever, ever do that. Next. Okay, and when I say fake information or broken links, you put your what do you say, LinkedIn ID there. But what happens in the LinkedIn ID is that I go click the LinkedIn ID, it should not take me to a 502 page error. The link should be very, very clear. Then when I say improper email IDs, don't give me email. That's a point covered by my seniors. Don't give me email IDs. Say jamesbond7@gmail.com or handsome hunk at handsome hunk 2020 at this thing, or pretty girl, or don't even do any one of those kind of things. Then when you say skills that are given and outdated, if you for example, one of the things which I would cover in the resume is that for people who are doing the computer science or any one of the, some of the skills, software skills should be part of the resume. When you're saying it, say things which are relevant, not things like, boss, I am trained in MS Word, Excel, I've done this course in Excel, and those kind of things. Don't put things which are relevant. If you have done courses in AI, ML, or something which is current and relevant. For example, and don't say references, I'll give it to you on request and other things. Don't put bizarre interest or hobbies. There are people who have put snake catching as an hobby. There are people who have put, vague things. Ensure that whatever you have in your resume is relevant, and remember, your resume is a valuable real estate which will help your which will help your life. So whatever, for example, when I say visuals, a lot of people who have said, put some strange visuals in it. Do not make the resume look professional. And lastly, do not ever put your personal social media accounts in your resume. There are people who have done it. That is wrong. And do not give false information. When I say false, patently false information, do not give in your resume, because things can come back and bite you. If you have not done a training program or whatever it is, they tell you, why didn't you do the training program? Don't say you've done it. If you've not done it, say you've not done it. That's it. But you have the capability to learn. So ensure that don't put things like, for example, when we see the personal things, I'm a fast learner. Give me a break, man. How do I know you're a fast learner? That you have to say, you have to prove in the interview, or have certain things you have wherein you see. So now let us go to what should be there in your, if you say that what should be there in your, what needs to be there in your resume. Just let me stop the screen sharing and let me share, let me open up 1 minute. Excuse me a minute. Just a minute, sorry. Just a minute. Sorry. I just quickly cover. Yeah. Okay. Ideally, we have covered a lot of these. We have covered a lot of these. We have covered a lot of these points as a part of the. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes,
Hello.
sir. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
yeah. We have
Yes,
covered
sir.
a lot. We have covered a lot of these points in the resume preparation. What should be there in the resume? When I say put the best fold above the fold, what it means is that the first half, what I covered to you as a part of the answer to your question, the best part of your resume is the first couple of lines. So ensure that you don't write your name below your full address and waste the real estate. Your address, contact details should be only in one line with your email ID and one mobile number. Don't put multiple mobile numbers. Do not, there are people who put some 4 mobile numbers, 3 mobile numbers. No, just put one mobile number and ensure that works, and ensure the ringtone is decent. Ensure the ringtone is decent. I've heard ringtones which are absolutely crazy, and I get pissed. I said, I mean, it's your personal choice, but give me a break. And when you say reverse chronological order, it means if you've done your MTech, then your BTech. Resume, use the word what we always use, KISS. Keep it short, sweet, and simple. And ensure that your resume is designed for skimmability. When I mean skimmability, I mean that I'm sorry if my power just gave up on me. So I might be seen as a ghost, and I'm sorry. So ideally ensure that yeah, let's come back again. So ensure that because a lot of these resumes are generally put through some resume reading software or whatever it is. So ensure that even if the address is there, I mean, you don't need to write definitely the address. You don't need to say my academic qualifications and then put it name, objective, and then your degree. You don't need to write your academic. We know it is in your academic qualification. We know it is your work experience. But certain things when you're for co-curricular activities are things you can mention, or hobbies or something. But very obvious things, avoid doing it. The second thing, what ensure that when I say show, do not tell your soft skills. I meant, do not say I'm hardworking, I'm nice, I'm pretty, I have a six-pack. Those things don't even go there at all. Ensure that, and definitely use keywords. Keywords are words, for example, if you are a software, if you are a, if you are a computer science engineer and you have skills in Java or machine learning or neural learning or any one of those advanced skills, ensure that that comes out very clearly in your resume. Next thing, which you, experience first, and then you keep your education. Ensure that you should include, this is a question somebody asked, should I put my continuing or online education? You definitely must put that in. And if it is from a premier place, ensure that is put in. But don't say I've done a certificate course in Word, Excel, and any one of those things. Those things piss off people. Don't say things which are mundane and which are very, very obvious. I mean, ensure that you list out your, when I mean your skills, your professional skills. You are, for example, if you are proficient in, I mean, when you say, don't write in your skills that software skills, I know MS Word or I know C++. I mean, you know C++, that's a done thing, but don't say very, very mundane things in it. Do not say. And be aware about interests which can become controversial. And then ensure that you, the last thing what I tell about to everybody is that ensure that your resume, you proofread the resume. They should not proofread. Get it proofread by somebody else also, if need be. Ensure that you save your resume. And the most important thing, name your resume file smartly. People have said resume of James Bond 007. No, you say resume of whatever, or Murugesh's resume. That's it. And do not put version 1 in it. There are people who have given resume names. Murugesh resume version 2.0. In the interview, where the resume next question people ask you in the interview. So you will call, I mean, never put yourself in this thing, and constantly refresh it. When I say refresh it in across all the job sites wherever you have posted your resume. അതുകൊണ്ട് ഓരോ സമയത്തിൽ ഒരു റെസ്യൂമെ ഉണ്ടാക്കിയിട്ട് പിന്നെയും അത് വെച്ചുകൊണ്ട് don't go and create another account. Don't go and create another account. നാളെ ഞാൻ ചുമ്മെങ്കിലും ഞാൻ ഒന്ന് നോക്കുകയാണെങ്കിൽ ഒരാൾക്ക് 2 resume. I have lost candidates in the US. Every placement is worth couple of $1,000. But just because this guy didn't remove an old resume, one of the leading software companies said that this bugger is a fake resume. There's only one thing fake in the resume. There was one extra organization he worked, which was not there in the online version, which to the version which we gave to the client. I mean, this is a $200,000 job. I mean, I would make good money in it. But what I'm saying is, do not ensure that you keep a record. A resume is a serious matter. It's a very serious matter. Ensure that you put in your best. I mean, end of it, we at the BBC Club are thinking about a model how to work with you all to see how to get your resume vetted or whatever it is. We will see if it is possible. It is a humongous task. We have to see how we can help in that matter. We will come back, either whoever is running the club will come back to you in further communications as to what we can do next. So it has been, I'm stopping the sharing. It's been amazing talking to all of you. It just makes me feel extremely young. Thank you for the opportunity again. And let's make a word of thanks to the 2 volunteers who took on the task of doing the presentation. Impressive. That is the advantage of being in this club called Be Bold and Confident. Wish more people would join this club and take this forward. And if there are no other questions, feel free to write to me if you have to. Feel free to take the contact details from them. Obviously, like I told yesterday, there will be a delay. If there is a delay in response and don't respond at all, you can talk to the ombudsperson of this group, Mr. Satish, who will give me some theories and make me respond back. So it's been thanks a lot, and all the very, very best. My sincere prayers to each one of you, that each one of you get the job of your dreams. And the last and the most important advice is, just because you didn't make it in your first interview, do not ever feel bad. It is because something else better is working. It's not a philosophical statement. I've done my mistakes. I didn't get one job. Then I made a statement saying I'm getting the next job, and I ended up selling fertilizers. So the point is, I'm not saying I did not enjoy it, but I missed out. So just, if you don't get one job, fine, learn from the mistakes. Don't get disappointed. One failure, one swallow does not make a summer. I mean, it's very easy for me to say because final year final semester supply. So the point is, just because you have supplies doesn't make you bad or doesn't make you, don't feel confident. Prepare, and in your resume,
thank you, Gauri,
and then go from there. Thanks, and all the very best.
Thank you, sir. It was indeed a spectacular session. I now invite Hari Govind for delivering the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Gauri. I hope all you had a great session. So my duty is to thank each of you for being part of this resume preparation session. First of all, thank you, our beloved alumni, Mr. Murikesh, sir, for handling such an informative session. Next, I would like to thank our BBC Club volunteers, Jinsa and Andra, for letting the students know about what should be there and what should not be there in a resume. I would also like to thank all the alumni and volunteers without whose support we couldn't have arranged this program. Finally, I would like to thank all the dear participants for listening to the session, and I hope all of you be part of this coming training sessions too. Thank you.
I hope the session proved enlightening for all of you. Our next session, aptitude test and mock session, is scheduled to be on 29th and 30th of April next week. So clear up your calendar and be ready at 7 p.m. for our next amazing session on 29th. Till then, bye. You can leave the meeting now.
I request our volunteers to stay back.